I'll tell you why Jamal Murray's an all-star. I'll tell you why a trade would be too complicated for the Nuggets to pull off. I'll tell you why the Nuggets are going to beat the Spurs on Friday. I'll tell you what my favorite Thanksgiving dish is. All that and more on Locked On Nuggets.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for joining us and making this part of your day, being with us, being an everydayer, making us your first listen. Appreciate each and every one of you joining us here, whether you're watching on youtube.com or at youtube.com/LockedOnNuggets, or if you're listening to us on the podcast, we do appreciate each and every single one of you. You guys are the best. Hope your holiday is going to be safe and healthy and happy and full of good food and good people and good vibes. I hope it's all great for you. I genuinely mean that. I hope everything is great for everybody in Nuggets Nation on this holiday. On today's show, I'll tell you why Jamal Murray is going to be an all-star this season. I will tell you about some of the complications that come with the trades and additions that people seem to want to make. Not even just trying to pull off the trade, what that means for them. I'll tell you about why that's a little bit more complicated than people realize. And we will talk about the Spurs game on Friday. My name is Matt Moore. I am the senior NBA writer for the Action Network. I'm co-host of Locked On NBA Daily. You can catch it every single afternoon, Monday through Friday. It's a great show. I recommend going and listen to it for my takes on all stuff across the association. Hayes is great on there. Wes Goldberg's great on there. Lots of great stuff. So make sure to check out that show. I've been covering the Denver Nuggets for 14 seasons. This is my 14th season covering the Nuggets as a credentialed reporter. Okay, let's talk about Jamal Murray. So I have said for a long time that Jamal Murray is 21-6. That's what he's averaged. In 2024, he averaged 21 points and 6.5 assists. In 2025, he averaged 21 points and 6 assists. In 2026 so far, he's averaging 23 points per game and 7 assists per game. He's also doing it on 47.7% from the field. He's doing it on 39% from three-point range, including the most three-pointers per game that he has taken, that he has made per game in his career and taken in his career. He is still shooting 89% from the line. He's an incredibly reliable shooter at the line. And he's been absolutely phenomenal. Jamal's been terrific this season overall. He's had a lot of big games. He was great in that game on Monday versus the Grizzlies. You're starting to see it more and more. And there's a lot of conversation about Jamal Murray being an all-star this season. And I think that he's shaping up for it to happen. When I started looking at kind of like what the board looks like for all-star, because this is always the problem. It's not about how good I think you are. I think lots of guys are good enough to be an all-star. But I also think that you got to be able to choose them over guys. Now, the format this year is the weird thing, right? He might just get it because they're trying to fill in the Team World format. And they will definitely frame it with an asterisk, as the Geiger says here on our show here on youtube.com. They'll definitely be like, well, yeah, but he was only. But I mean, look at this. Here's the games. So Shades, yes. Luka, yes. Luka, they're gonna put Luka as a guard. I don't think he should, but Luka's gonna be in as a guard. Then Steph, okay, sure, 100%. Harden, all right. The Clippers are a joke, but I get it. Harden's still been really good. Then, like, the next guy in EPM in the Western Conference from the guard spot is Austin Reeves. Like, that's where it gets to. Like, you have to go all the way down there to be able to find that. That's where you have to go next, is Austin Reeves in the Western Conference is the next guy. Now, Austin, I think, has been phenomenal. I think he's been probably better than Jamal because he had those huge games, like scored 40 or whatever. But then, like, after that, we get into, okay, Anthony Edwards. All right, Ant's probably going to get a spot because Ant's Ant. I still think that Jamal is probably, like, on that level of guy, because then we drop all the way. Like, Jamal's next on that EPM list. And then it's Stephon Castle, who I would not put over Jamal. De'Aaron Fox, who hasn't played enough games to put him over Jamal. Reed Shepard, who I would not put over Jamal. AJ Mitchell, would not put him over Jamal. Amen Thompson, I would not put him over Jamal. Drew Holiday, I would not put him over Jamal. Colin Gillespie, I would not put him over Jamal. So, to me, I think that even if it wasn't the world format, I think Jamal actually would be deserving this year of an all-star spot. Because if all these guys in the Eastern Conference are going to have been able to get there because the competition was weaker, if in the West that's an opportunity, I still think that definitely matters here. And I think that Jamal's really played that way. Like Jamal has become such a better passer than I think people realize. Like Jamal averaging now close to 7 assists per game. He's a legitimately great playmaker. He's making some incredible reads and passes. Like I don't just judge whether or not you see the pass. I judge like, okay, how good are you in terms of targeting? Going back and watching, the passes are landing in the pocket. He's averaging 9.3 assists per 100 possessions, which actually, by the way, is not a career high. His career high was in 2024 when they played at a glacial pace, and he was averaging 10.2. But this is the second highest assist rate of his career. He's scoring efficiently. He does play off of Jokic, but he's a huge reason. And on some level, like without Aaron Gordon, if Jamal hasn't had as many good games as he has, the Nuggets aren't at the record that they are probably because the bench minutes would have been so much worse. So I feel like there's a little bit of an opportunity for Jamal Murray to legitimately make the All-Star game, even if it wasn't just the international format. Like, I think he's deserving. That's how good he's been. Jamal's an NBA champion. He's been on a team that's getting in the playoffs every year since 2019. Like when Jamal Murray has played, he's been in the playoffs every year since 2019. He's been really good. Just really good. Darian Bustamante asked, do you think Jamal is playing too many minutes right now? Probably a little bit. That's how it is. I think it's hard to win games and not play minutes. And the thing is that we'll get to this in the second segment. Even if you add somebody to take the minute load off of Jamal, there are complications with that I'm not sure people have thought about. So I think that's a little bit of an issue. Patrick McMahon says Booker. I think Booker's been an all-star this year too. There are always a lot of good guys. But I think Jamal's been in that category. I just think that he's been so good. I don't think his defense has been great every game, but I do think his defense has been good more than bad. I think his defense on night-to-night basis, I would grade him out as good more than bad. Because even when he has bad halves, like I thought he had in the first half versus Houston, he was great in the second half. So I think that there's like a really great opportunity there for Jamal to finally make an all-star team. And that's going to be interesting to see what the reaction is. Because on the one hand, it's like, hey, Jamal finally made an all-star team. Two, what are people going to do when they can't complain that Jokic hasn't played with an all-star? What will people do? That's so many things that are said so often. I don't know what they would do with that information. Coming up, the Nuggets seem to need one more guy. A lot of people think that. I don't know the answer to that. If they do, then what happens with the rotation? We'll talk about that coming up on Locked On Nuggets. Today's show is brought to you by Game Time. Basketball season is officially here, and nothing beats being in the arena for those opening games. Let's be real. Getting tickets can be a total headache. Between waiting in queues, surprise fees, and prices that jump right before checkout, it's easy to get frustrated when all you want to do is cheer on your team. That's where Game Time comes in. It's the app that gives fans the advantage. It's your ultimate life hack for scoring amazing NBA tickets fast, easy, and stress-free. There's so much great sports going on. This is such a great sports town right now. If you're looking at those tickets for a gift for the holidays, Game Time's going to give you the best deals. You're going to get the best deals. You're going to know where your seats are and what the view is like because they got the panoramic view. You're not going to get caught with hidden fees because you can turn those on. What you see is exactly what you pay. And you can get deals for Broncos, Avalanche, Nuggets. The Rockets theoretically play again sometime with a new interim manager that was promoted. I don't really know why. The zone deals are a game changer. You pick the section, Game Time picks your seats, and you save big. You can even find NBA tickets for under $25. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. That's code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Swipe. Tap. Ticket. Go. We'll be right back. Locked On Nuggets. Back here on Locked On Nuggets. Thanks for joining us and making us part of your day. If you're listening on the podcast version, appreciate you guys listening. Hope you guys are having a good day. If you're on your way to work on Wednesday, be real safe driving. People get crazy this time of year. People are under a lot of stress right now because of the holidays. Like families coming in, you're worried about that. Oh no, is my uncle going to say the thing? I've asked him not to say at the thing. So be patient with other people. Give lots of room. Be safe out there if you're driving to work on Wednesday. The Googer Geiger says he's at work. So shout out to you for listening on while you're at work. Hang in there, man. I've had those night shifts before too. All right, let's talk about trades. So there's a consensus, I think, from where I see on Nuggets Reddit and Nuggets Twitter and the comments here that they need one more guy. The Nuggets, we need one more guy, preferably a point guard, someone to bring the ball up the floor that can, if they're going to press Jamal, can break the press, that can take some of the minute load off of Jamal. One more actual point guard, because Bruce is a point guard. Bruce has said he's a point guard. Bruce feels he's a point guard. And that's like fine. But there's an idea that they need one more guy. So the problem when I look at it is, okay, where do the minutes kind of come from, right? So let's take out, as Jamal's still going to stagger with the bench. If Jamal has been averaging this season, Jamal's averaging 35 minutes a game. We're going to take 3 minutes away from Jamal and we'll give him to this other player. Where do the other, if you're going to bring in a guy that's actually going to make an impact, where do the other 9 to 17 minutes come from? Where do you get those minutes from? Because when you look at the rotation, do you want less Bruce Brown? I don't think you do. Bruce has been great. Like, Bruce has been a really good contributor, and Bruce brings a lot on the defensive end, and you need his versatility. Do you want less Tim Hardaway Jr.? Probably not, because Tim provides spacing, and Tim's been really good in the Jokic minutes, and you've done all of those types of things. Like, this is where the rotation is without Christian Brown. Do you want less Cam Johnson? Do you want to reduce Cam Johnson down even further after you had the audacity to trade a first-round pick for him? This is where I think it gets tough, is if you get to a playoff environment, whom are you limiting here to play this person more? If you traded for a Keon Ellis, which I don't think the Kings will trade. I think they're going to keep Keegan Murray and Keon Ellis. I think they'll trade anybody else, but I think those two are staying. Need Clifford, they like to. But let's say you got Keon Ellis. How do you find the minutes for him? Because it'd be great to be able to play him in the like give Jamal some games off. But even if it's like, oh, we want them ready for the playoffs because like, what if Tim Hardaway Jr. is like not as playable in the playoff? Which I don't know why you would really think that. It doesn't seem like Tim's going to be that type of player. Like, I don't see anything in Tim's game where it's like he can't play. But even if they struggle and you're going to drop them down, you're going to cause some complications, I think, with the roster and the locker room. And this is where this gets back into something that I talk about a lot that I don't think, like, I struggle because it's a real thing, but I don't know the fans want to hear it. So I'm always kind of in this bad spot of like, yeah, but this is real and you should understand it. But also fans are like, yeah, but I don't care. Like, you should just be happy with playing it all. But like THJ is averaging 23.8 minutes per game. If you drop him under 20, if he's down to 17, let's say he takes 6 minutes off, you give it to this other player. Is Tim going to feel like he's able to play enough to make enough of an impact? Is he going to be satisfied with 17 minutes a night, even on a minimum? Because he's still trying to extend his career, and he wants to make an impact too. Peyton Watson's been playing a lot of the 2 and the 3, and he's at 26 minutes. Like, there are problems here with kind of how you find the minutes for these guys. I don't think it's as easy as it's kind of portrayed, because Julian's not in the rotation and Jalen Pickett's not in the rotation. And you're adding a guy of those kind of level of what you want to add. And so you have to take minutes away from somebody. If you want somebody to come in and just be like a burst of energy, the problem is you're not going to be able to find anybody who's probably playoff caliber. Like, you want somebody who can play in the playoffs, right? Or if you're just looking for a regular season spell guy, like a Spencer Jones, as somebody says in the comments, those minutes could be really bad, especially with point guards. Like, they could be really bad. You know, if you bring in CJ McCollum and it's CJ McCollum and Jonas Valanciunas playing drop coverage, like that might get really bad and you'll still be really frustrated. I'm not saying that this isn't like a reason to not do it. I think the Nuggets are open to the opportunity if one comes available. But I do think there's a little bit of a complication. Having too many guys seems like a good idea. It seems like a really good idea. That's what every fan wants. That they want like 15 guys who are all stars. Like incredible, awesome. But I do think like there's a little bit of a roster crunch, and not only is there a roster crunch, I think it gets a little bit hard to actually find rhythm and for you to find what works. I think that gets a little difficult. And on top of that, like then there's the other problem of just like there's nobody to trade. Nobody's taking the Zeke Naji contract despite him playing well versus Memphis. Julian is probably untradeable right now. You don't want to trade another first. Your seconds are very limited. There's not a lot of options here. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't continue to kind of want them to get another guy. I just think that finding the right guy is really difficult. They might find it, though. They might find a guy who's like, hey, perfect 10-minute guard. Play 10 minutes, defense, and threes. Bring the ball up, shoot the ball, defend. That's entirely possible. But I think it's a little bit more complicated than folks realize. Coming up, I'm going to preview the Spurs game for you. We'll talk about that game coming up, and as well as the Nuggets' chances of making it to the quarterfinals of the NBA Cup. We'll talk about that coming up on Locked On Nuggets. When I'm hydrated, everything just works better. My focus, my energy, my mood, even my skin. That's why I've been using Drip Drop. It's doctor-developed hydration that keeps me running at full power no matter what my day looks like. Drip Drop isn't your average sports drink. It delivers 3 times the electrolytes and half the sugar of leading brands using a science-backed formula trusted by medical professionals, firefighters, and over 90% of top college and pro teams. I'm drinking Drip Drop right now. In this thermos, I have water with the watermelon Drip Drop. It is my favorite. I drink it all the time. It tastes so good, helps me stay hydrated, especially after I'm working out. I'm running a 5K for Thanksgiving. I'm doing the turkey trot up here in Northern Colorado. Excited. I haven't done a 5K in years, and I will have my Drip Drop with me on that race because it is absolutely tastes incredible and it keeps me hydrated. I feel cooler. It's gonna be great. It's because hydration is non-negotiable, and Drip Drop helps me feel sharper, calmer, and honestly just better overall. Right now, Drip Drop is offering podcast listeners 20% off your first order. Go to dripdrop.com and use promo code LOCKEDONNBA. That's dripdrop.com. Promo code LOCKEDONNBA for 20% off. Stock up now before the heat hits hard and keep your body and mind performing at their best with Drip Drop. We're also brought to you today. Nope, that's it. We'll be right back on Locked On Nuggets. Back here on Locked On Nuggets. Thanks for joining us and being part of our community. Appreciate you guys being with us. Okay. So they play the Spurs on Friday in the last of the Cup games. Going to be an interesting game from that perspective. The Spurs play the Blazers tomorrow. And depending on that game, the Spurs will either be out of the Cup or in really position to kind of steal this. So that game could be really interesting. No Wembanyama, not expected to be back for that game. If he's upgraded, we can talk about it. Fox has been playing awesome, and I'm worried about that. So the Nuggets still have this kind of problem with guards and their ability to create penetration and cause havoc in that second line. And Payton, I think, is a pretty good matchup to throw at him with the athleticism, length versus Fox's speed. But there's also just like the matter of like Fox is just like a really incredible player. The Spurs play a really disciplined, balanced style. I've been really impressed with Mitch Johnson as a coach this season. They've been way better than kind of I was prepared for them to be. I was so low on their wings, and their wings have really stepped up. Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell, those guys have been absolutely terrific this season. Harrison Barnes, always a guy that can hit shots. Luke Cornett has been amazing. Like Luke Cornett is just like a low mistake guy who has a lot of upside. Julian Champagnie, another guy you have to stay home on. Like I would like to see Spencer Jones get the Julian Champagnie assignment and just cut off, like turn that tap water off as far as that goes, because that to me is like how that it's very important to take away the 3-point margin from San Antonio. They've been really good in that regard. If the Nuggets do make the cup, if they make the quarterfinal, I'm going to be really interested to see this. If they win the group, they'll host a game. That'll be like a really fun environment. We've never hosted one of those in Denver, so that would be really cool to see. And then if they go to Vegas, I do think the team actually kind of wants to win. You know, I know that they're tired based off of everything, but you do get like some spaced out games. And it means you don't get caught with a random, hey, you're going to face this good team anyway. Like last year when they were like, hey, what if you play the Clippers again? Which wound up being the reason they had home court. But anyway, I do think there's some value in going to the Cup and just playing in that kind of environment. I think it'll give Joker a little bit of a boost just for him to be able to play in a game that's got a little bit more meaning, a little bit different environment. It'll be hilarious seeing him on the red carpet. Like, what's Joker wearing for the red carpet? Just a suit? I think Peyton Watson would have an incredible suit for the red carpet. They have this big red carpet set up for the Vegas games. I also kind of wonder, like, hey, will Nuggets fans travel for those games? Because, like, that's a cheap, short flight. Like, you could take off of work at, like, 1, get to DIA by 2 for a 3:30 flight, and make it in time for tip-off. Like, you could just, like, dip out and make the semifinals. So they've got one of the best opportunities here for them to travel. The Lakers obviously are always great in Vegas because half that town is Vegas or are LA transplants and they're Lakers fans. But like Nuggets might have a little bit of a home court advantage in the Cup, which is actually kind of rare, which to me is pretty interesting. I just think it'd be really cool to see them compete for the Cup because they've been so good. I just think it'd be really fun. And then bringing them back the banner would be a lot of fun too. And the pictures, can you imagine Yoke in Vegas? It'd be a lot of fun. Okay. That's going to do it for Locked On Nuggets. Short show tonight, setting you up for the holidays. I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving. We're going to take off tomorrow with no game. And this is going up Wednesday for the podcast listeners. We'll be off for the holiday on Thursday. And then Ryan will be back with you on Friday night. I'll be with you on Saturday night for the back-to-back. That's how it's going to go. I hope you guys have a great holiday season. We'll see you guys again next time on Locked On Nuggets.